Imagine this. You are laying in a hospital bed, unable to move, talk, breathe on your own, or hug your children or your loved ones. You are alert and you can sense what is going on around you, but you can't participate. You see nurses across the hall laughing and jumping up and down, and you wish you could just jump up and do the same thing. You hear someone down the hall yelling that are getting discharged today and get to go home, yet you are still in the hospital bed, maybe for the rest of your life. You can't breathe on your own, your lungs aren't working, and you have a tube down your throat. The cancer has spread to your kidneys and your organs are failing. Your heart's being compromised from the chemicals being pumped into your body. The chemicals aren't helping your body get stronger and healthier, they are just preserving how long you will be there, competent and alert. You are dying and you know you are dying. You want the pain to stop and it's just not going away. You lay in that hospital bed in pain, distress, and anger. You know it's going to happen and you should have the decision to make that. You know what's going to happen and you have the decision to end your life on your own terms. Physician-assisted suicide is not giving a patient the option to take their own life out of frustration and spite. It is giving the patient the option to end their life while they can still remember the happy and fulfilling memories they have experienced. Although suicide is stigmatized as an act of taking one's life out of depression, spite, or frustration, physician-assisted suicide should be legalized because of one's ability to no longer live their life effectively. Physician-assisted suicide is the act of a physician prescribing a medication to help end someone's life. The physicians will prescribe this medication for the patient, but then it's up to the patient to take the medication themselves. Patients and people become terminally ill whether we like to believe it or not. Even babies, teenagers, adults, elderly people become ill to the point where there is no turning back. Martine Partridge is a prime example of this. She is a 39-year-old woman who lived in Oregon who was diagnosed with cancer. She had exhausted all her options, chemotherapy, radiation, surgeries, transplants. Nothing was working. No medications were working. Her life was ending and she knew it was ending. She couldn't talk or paint or camp or hike or do anything that she once loved to do. She had a machine behind her at all times helping her breathe because she could not breathe on her own. She believed that this cancer was ruining her life and she did not want her loved ones to see her suffering anymore. She consulted in the aid of a physician to end her life. She made this decision because she wanted to stay true to herself. She didn't want her family to see her suffering or remember her as the person that she was beginning to come as she was hating her life and she wanted it to end. She did not want to wait till the very end where she would hate her life even more. She wanted to be remembered as a girl that was true to herself. She described her own body as a battered and decrepit shell that holds what used to be Martine, and she did not want to end that way. Patients choose physician-assisted suicide because it's comforting. The physician will walk them through every step of the way, which I believe is really important. If you're on hospice or something, they are just helping you stay there until you pass away. They're not walking you through the steps of what's going to happen. They're just waiting for you to pass. Physicians prescribe a drug called Seconal. It's just a sleeping medication that's no longer prescribed as a sleeping medication because people were taking it too often. And it was just not allowing them to wake up. So this is a very painless and easy way to go. It's very peaceful. I believe that patients should be able to make that decision by taking that drug because it's not allowing their family to see them in distress. They're not seeing them leave from a heart attack or from them just stop breathing all on their own. It's a very peaceful way to go. Now that we've talked about why I believe it should be legalized, we can talk about why it hasn't been legalized. Religion plays a very, very big role in it, and there was a study conducted in December in Switzerland. They took a group of elderly people and described to them what physician-assisted suicide is and asked them if it came down to it, would they do that? And the study showed that none of them would. They were very religious and they believe that God has a plan for everybody, and if God makes you sick, it's for a reason. Or if you're sick, God will get you out of that, and He will help you get stronger. Sometimes this isn't always medically correct, and that can't always happen, especially if you've exhausted all your options. Unfortunately, the older generation is what makes up our law system. So I believe that's why it hasn't been legalized. Hawaii has passed it. They passed it last month to legalize it, which I believe is a good step in the right direction. We give the patients the option to stop chemotherapy. We give them the option to sign a DNR to just not revive them if their heart stops working. We also give them the option of hospice just so they want to give up, they just lay in bed until they pass away. And I believe that if we were able to legalize physician-assisted suicide, it would just be a better way for people who want to end their life without all the pain and suffering.